promised, we're on phase 3 of building the chicken coop. And that is going to be preparing to put the rafters on. So in order to do that, first thing we have to do is we have to extend one of the walls up to get a slant on the roof. Now I'm only going up about 13 inches. When I put the top plate on, it's going to be 14.5 inches. And that's not a very steep angle, but I don't want a really steep angle. I just want it enough so the water will run off it in the snow. It's not going to be carrying a really heavy load, so it doesn't have to be that steep. Then the next thing we got to do is we have to go on the inside, and we have to span a space where there's going to be a load-bearing wall that needs to extend all the way across to the opposite outer wall to support the middle of the rafters. So I'll have to build a header and span that space, and then build up the supports there. And then as I'm extending this wall, I'm building these transoms. So let me show you right quick. So I've already got two of the frames built, and each frame has 2 windows in it. And I'll show you the glass we're going to use here in just a second. But let's go on the inside. All right, here you can see the inside of those transom frames, and all there are is they're 2x6s and 2x4s. I make a 43-inch wide by 16.5 inch tall. Is it 16.5 inches? No. 14.5 inches. 14.5 inch tall frame, and I sandwich 2x6s on the end of it, and then I'll put a 2x6 top plate across the top of those frames all the way down that wall. And then what will happen is the glass will just be clamped in there from the inside. I'll silicone it really well and clamp it on the inside, and it'll make great natural light coming in here. Now, as far as where the header goes, as you can see, this wall right here has to extend all the way across and tie into this outside wall here. Like I said, the reason is that's going to be load bearing, so I have to make a header, and I'll just sandwich some 2x6s and probably some OSB to make it wider in there, and then I'll block it in and traverse that space. And then from there, the supports go up. So let's step outside, and let me show you how I make the transom boxes. So first off, here's the glass I'm going to use. It's tempered glass. It's really dirty because it's been sitting outside. But it measures 20 inches by 13 inches. And there's going to be 2 of them in each frame. And like I said, the frames are made out of 2x4s and 2x6s. I've already got the wood cut. So let's go ahead and assemble one so you can see how it's done. All right. So we got 2 pieces of 2x6. I've marked off the left edge of the center piece on a 21.5-inch center. I made both marks on both of them. And I'll need 3 of these blocks, which are 10.5. Actually, I cut them just a tad short of 10.5 inches. We take some liquid nails. Put the liquid nail on the end of the board. Put the first one on here. Get it in there. Take a couple of screws. Take the next one. Put some more liquid nails on it. And the reason why I'm using the liquid nails is I want this to be really tight. I want it to stay, and I don't want it to move around. So then we line that up, press it in. Take a couple more screws. Now, the key when you're putting these on is we want one side to be completely flush because the glass is going to set up against this. Now, I know that this is not the normal way you make windows, so I don't need any comments on that. You can comment if you want to. I like hearing from you guys. But this is just a quick and easy way to do it. It's functional and it's sturdy, and quite frankly, chickens don't care. Chickens do not care whether the thing's done properly or not. They just care that it works. It takes a couple more screws. You know, because I am kind of winging it here, just kind of doing it quick and dirty. Not all these joints are gonna mesh up properly, and that's gonna be fixed by using a lot of silicone and some more liquid nails to patch stuff up. You know, and honestly, if I had the time, I would get the router table out and I would route it and I would do it properly. Problem is, we got inclement weather coming in the next 36 hours, and I need to get a roof on it really quick. I want to do the transom windows so that the inside gets some natural light. So I don't have time to wait and do it properly. Well, let me take that back. I don't have time to do it like a professional would do it. Now, the reason why I went from end to end first is because, as you can see, this one's sticking up a little bit. By securing those two, this gives me the opportunity to leverage this one down. Oh. You want to line that up. All these screws are reclaimed from the cabin, and some of them are kind of stripped out, so they don't work as well as brand new ones sometimes. Well, they don't go in as easily. Let's put it that way. All right, so we've got the frame built. Now what we'll do, take one of the 2x6s and put a couple screws in it. Run a bead of liquid nails right down the middle. Put this on there. Now, if I did my cuts properly, I could just line the top up. I don't have to do any measuring. Just want to make sure it's flush. Flip it around so you can see this side. Take my finger and smooth out some of that glue that came out. Apply the glue on. Probably a little overkill, I'll admit. I want to make sure that it does not move. Nope, that one's bent. Let's take that one out and put a good one in. Like I said, some of these screws are not in very good condition. But I salvaged as many as I could because I couldn't see wasting that much money when they were reusable. It's about time for a new bit. Okay, so we got it built this far. Now what I want to do is on one of the ends, I want to take and put another 2x6 on. And the reason why I'm doing that is so that it makes it 4 feet all the way across. Yep, 4 feet. Actually, it's just a little less than 4 feet. But I'm going to compensate for it on the end. It's going to be about 3/4 of an inch off on the far end. Uh-oh. You guys see Patriot Kitty up here? Got a bunch of animals that really enjoy being involved in my builds. She has been out hunting all morning long. She showed up at the front door as I was going out to work the other day and had a big old field mouse in her jaws and spit it out right at my feet as I left the house. And she looked up at me and she had that look on her face like, "Look what I brought you, Dad." All right, there you have it. That's how I build the frames. And then what'll happen? Get in here so you can see it. Is the glass will come in here and it will just sit right down along the top plate. And I'll take furring strips and screw them into the spaces right here. Just put 3 of them across, and that way it'll clamp the glass in, and then we'll silicone the actually before I put it in, I'll silicone right here, drop it down, actually they're in place, so I'm not dropping anything. And then I'll clamp them in. Now, I like the idea of doing this way, because if one of them should, on the offhand chance, break, it's just a matter of removing some screws, pulling the glass, and replacing it. We bought like 250 of these for $2 each. No, I'm sorry, it's 150. It's 150 of them for $2 each. So we got a whole bunch of them. We were going to use them for a greenhouse, but that kind of fell by the wayside because we were moving, and a whole bunch of other stuff came up. So, all right, let me get this one installed. And all I do to install it is I drill through the bottom 2x4 directly into the top plate, and then the next box will just screw right into the one next to it. All right, let me get back to work. Be back soon. Thanks, Milo.